Hello, hello. This is the first live stream in the house, the new place. Getting everything set up, doing the big move and all that. I'm gonna adjust the settings and camera angle and all that stuff. For now, this is how I have it set up. And I want to test the audio, see how it is in the gym room. Camera's over there. So yeah, today, ROUVY ride, zone 2, heat training. Let's go. I'm gonna start from the beginning because I want this to count for the challenge route. So I need to go back to the start. There we go. Should take me about an hour and 20 minutes, I think, for this route at a medium zone 2 pace. We'll see. It's pretty hilly. Almost 1,000 meters of climbing throughout this route. Most of it, I was gonna say most of it in the second half, but there's a long climb in the second half. But there's a few short, very steep climbs about the middle third of this route. Hey Nick, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people, seems like a personal preference. A lot of people love or hate the different graphics on the different platforms. It's interesting. Man, my legs are sore from the torque work yesterday. Actual climbs in real life on Zwift. So what do you mean? Is that different from the climb portal? Because I love those. I do those all the time. Like a real life climb with a gradient and everything. I love doing those. I see. Yeah, yeah. From what I understand, it takes a long, long time to do all the graphics and everything. That's why there's only new worlds every, I don't even know, every year or two. It takes a long time. I would love to see that process get a lot quicker in the future. I have no idea what's all involved in that, but it seems like a huge, huge undertaking. Maybe 20 years in the future, we can just upload a GPX file and the app, it'll know where it is in the world, and it'll just load the exact scenery that you would see in real life. That'd be so cool, but who knows how far away that technology is. Quintus, that's a good question. During Zone 2 rides like this, or heat training, I usually just watch stuff on YouTube, or Netflix, or cycling if I'm riding in the morning. So just watching YouTube today. I'll put on music during intervals, because I can't watch anything. It's way too hard to focus. Hey Lucas, good to see you again. Yeah, no more Costco across the street. We moved about a few miles away into our house, first house. So super exciting. It's been a lot of moving, a lot of planning, a lot of work to get it all set up. It's in its infancy right now. The gym, the training room. But yeah, this will be the new setup for a long time. That is super interesting, Quintus. I haven't heard of that before. Listening to ambient rain sounds while riding Zone 2. That is a cool idea. I like that. Might try that sometime. Yeah, thank you, Lucas. It's a big day. It's a lot. Enjoy your time renting while you can. And then when you feel ready one day, you'll be ready to move on to a house. It's a lot. My legs are starting to loosen up a little bit. Quads were super sore at the beginning of this ride. Still quite sore from yesterday, but not as bad now. Yeah, I really like that idea. It's very relaxing. Helps you really focus on the effort rather than just staring at the power. You're actually focused on keeping your physiological effort in zone 2, which is the important part. Not just hitting a certain power output. Yeah, Quintus, that's a really good question. I actually did. I went through a period of overtraining and burnout at the end of 2019, going into 2020. I was trying to be a road pro at the time, and I moved to Tucson, did that whole thing, was training a ton, not really doing anything else, just focused on cycling. Mentally and physically, I was just very burnt out. I couldn't hit my normal numbers, not even close. And then mentally, I was really struggling as well. So I came home and I quit racing for a while, which it actually worked out because in 2020, by the time we got to March, all the races got canceled. So I was just at home training indoors just because I still love cycling. I still love exercise. I just didn't want to do intervals anymore. I didn't want to drive to a race or fly to a race, have all that pressure. I just started racing on the indoor trainer. And then I had many, many months of that. I didn't do an interval session for about a year and a half. Just was doing indoor racing, the zone 1, zone 2 rides, and that was it. And that got me back to a good mental place where I really enjoyed cycling and racing. And then I slowly got back into the outdoor racing a little bit, and then now fully back into gravel. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm always happy to share my story and everything. I think it's not really talked about enough, especially with younger riders, juniors, and U23s. They feel so much pressure that they have to make it, that they have to be a pro cyclist, almost like they're running out of time. And they put so much pressure on themselves for results and numbers when it's like, that should never be the goal. It should always be long term. Like, what do you love about cycling? Why do you do it? What makes you happy with cycling? And then focus on those rides and experiences rather than chasing a certain result. Yeah, there's so many cyclists that burn out. So many junior and U23 guys that they have all the talent in the world, best numbers, and then after 2 or 3 years of racing at or near the pro level, they just quit because they just don't enjoy it anymore. Hey, stop. Yes, we're officially moving in now. Moved all the training equipment, all the bikes, many Lauf bikes. Getting it all set up. Feels great. It's really, really good. Nice to have my own space. Got a little climb coming up here. Steep, steady climb. Lauf is based out of Iceland. First Icelandic partner that I've had before. They're super, super nice. They're awesome people. And I've loved working with them, partnering with them. Highly recommend it. I have the Lauf road bike on the trainer. It's called the Uthald or Youthald. I should look up how to say it. I should learn this. It's getting super steep up here, over 10%. Yeah, there's actually a lot of steep climbs in Alabama. I've done a lot of them. I think probably more northern Alabama. Is that the Appalachians maybe? Quintus, to answer your question, I would say I wouldn't generally ride zone 2 in a warm environment, but if you want to do heat training, that's a specific session. I wouldn't do every zone 2 ride as a heat training session. I would do specific heat training sessions throughout the week, week after week, month after month. You can do a specific block of heat training, or you can do it a couple times a week like I do. And then with that, you can make the gains through heat training. But stop to answer your question. Let's see. Wow, 4 by 16 to 18 minutes. That's sweet spot. That is a hard session. Very hard session. A 5-minute FTP test? Is that the question? 5-minute FTP test is definitely not an FTP test. That's an anaerobic VO2 max test. The shortest valid FTP test, I would say, would be 10 minutes maybe if you're an aerobic athlete. But if you're anaerobic, most of that effort is going to be anaerobic, not FTP. FTP should be a long, sustained effort of an hour long. That's my definition of FTP. So 5 minutes is way too short. Yeah, Lucas, what's your question with Knudsen's training? That guy's crazy. He's super strong. His training is mentally got to be some of the hardest training I've seen. He'll just go out middle of the week, smash some KLMs, like all out, full gas, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 35 minutes sometimes, just in the middle of the week on a training ride. Average heart rate 190 for 20 minutes. For him it works, but For most riders, they would not be able to handle that mentally. But for him, it works. I would say, so most esport riders ride out of the saddle or race out of the saddle. So they'll stand at higher power outputs. And I tend to do the same. I mean, for me, it's just easier to put out 400, 500, 600 watts out of the saddle on the indoor trainer or outdoors too. I think it takes a special rider like Tadej Pogačar for them to be able to do seated 550 for like 3 minutes. Whereas at the top level of esports, that is the level. Guys are doing 3 to 5 to 10 minutes at 500 watts. So I would say it's definitely something that you can train. You can get better at holding high power out of the saddle for a long time. It depends what your goals are too. If you're training for outdoor racing, I wouldn't only train out of the saddle on the trainer, because you'll start losing the ability to put out high power in the saddle, which is, you always need that for outdoor riding, outdoor racing. Another steep climb here. How's the heat training been, Nick? I started with doing it in the sauna, and then I eventually made it up to active heat training sessions. Sauna would be passive heat training, where you're not exercising, you're just in the heat. Whereas active heat training, you're exercising. So you could do an indoor training session, or you could do an outdoor training session if it's super hot outside. So like guys that live in Arizona in the summer, or during the Australian summer, if you go and ride outside at noon, it's probably heat training if the air temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's interesting with Grandma Bree. His story is really, really cool. And yeah, I think the low cadence training has been around for a long time, but most people didn't do it as structured as a lot of riders do nowadays, with structured blocks of 5 to 10 minutes of 40 to 50 RPM. Yeah, Lucas, I think if you only ride indoors and you only race indoors, it's not a bad habit to be out of the saddle. It's just your style of riding, because there's no penalty for it. There's no penalty on the trainer for a low cadence or for being out of the saddle. It's all about the power. So if you can do more power, do more power. That's all that matters. Yeah, Nick, I think I've experienced the same thing. Heat training with the sauna suit is definitely way harder than just putting on winter clothes. The only reason I don't have the sauna suit today is because I forgot to move it from the apartment. So I brought my winter clothes, forgot the sauna suit, so it's winter clothes today. Yeah, I think heat training, of course you can do it without a core sensor, a core temperature sensor, but I would say it's always going to be better with a core sensor, because it's the same thing as doing like 4x5 minute intervals or a 10-minute LT1 zone 2 interval. It's like you can do that without power and heart rate, just not knowing any numbers, but it's just going to be more precise, more accurate, and more reliable when you do have those numbers to back it up. So with heat training, I definitely recommend getting a core sensor so that you can keep track of the heat strain, the core temperature, all that stuff throughout the sessions. And you can see progress too. And yeah, there's some guys in the World Tour that they climb out of the saddle all the time. The Yates twins, Mike Woods was one guy that did that. I'm trying to think of another one. Mikel Landa, he'll do it in the drops, so it's more aero, but he'll still be out of the saddle a lot. Contador was another one that was out of the saddle all the time, and he had a very upright position. It wasn't as fast, or at least it wasn't as aero. It was super fast, obviously. Yeah, Nick, I'll lose about the same in an hour. Yeah, probably around 3 pounds in an average heat training session. Oh, that's cool, Lucas. It was a very cool rider. And a great nickname too. A great nickname and celebration. El Pistolero, right? I think that's a great question. I don't know if I've ever thought about that. Favorite rider of all time? Peter Sagan is up there for sure. He's probably in my top 3. I'm trying to think of anyone that would be above that. I think as an American, Greg LeMond is always going to be iconic. But I never got to watch him race because I wasn't born yet. I'm trying to think. There's another one. All-time favorite rider. That's a great question. Cancellara was cool. I love watching his time trials. Tony Martin. I really like Tony Martin as well. I think Sagan is probably my number 1. Just the way he would win races. How versatile he was. How he would always surprise people. Climbing, sprinting, descending. It was so cool. Oh man. Yeah. I remember watching that on TV too. That was probably around the time I started watching more cycling. But we always had it on in the summer, watching the Tour de France. Wow, this climb is steep. Not even halfway there yet. Oh yeah, I'm bummed about tomorrow because we're moving tomorrow, starting first thing in the morning, so I'm not really gonna have any time to watch Umloop. I can try to have it on my phone or my computer in the background, but we're gonna be so busy all day, I won't really get to watch it as intentionally as I would like to, but that's okay. Hopefully it's a good race. The old time trial guys were so, I feel like Cancellara had so much aura. He had so much swag. Like he would just show up, quads bigger than anyone else, and just win by like a minute and a half. It was crazy. And like, there's no way he was that aero. His position was so high and so open on the TT bike. He must have been doing 500 watts for half an hour to go that fast. Yeah, Lucas, I think for tomorrow, Vanderpool's the obvious pick, but I'm gonna say Christophe Laporte. I think he's in great form. I think he's back, he's fully back. I think he can win tomorrow. I'd honestly love to see Visma win after they have had so many injuries and illness and issues. Not just this year, but last year in the Classic season too. I think Laporte or Matthew Brennan could win tomorrow. I would love to see that. For 20 minutes, I would definitely push more power standing up. I mean, I think across the board, I always push more power standing up for all durations. I think the longer the interval, the more I'd have to take a break to sit down. So like 20 minutes, in a 20-minute test, I probably wouldn't do it completely out of the saddle. I would probably do 4 or 5 minutes at a time out of the saddle, and then 30 to 60 seconds sitting, like seated, spin a little bit, change up the muscle groups, and then go back to standing. Yeah, I love Christophe Laporte. He's very cool and like very underrated for how good he is and how strong he is on different terrain. Ooh, Ben Turner's a great pick as well. I think he'll be top 5, maybe 3rd. I don't know how he can win though. I might be wrong, but I feel like if it's super, super hard and a small group wins, it's like, I mean, Ben Turner's not going to ride away from Vanderpool, Laporte, Van Barle. Who are the other breakaway guys? Guys like that. And if it's a bunch sprint, I don't think Turner's going to out-sprint Phillipson, Biniam, those guys. So it's like, I feel like he'll do well. I don't know if he'll win though. Maybe I'm wrong though. We'll see. This is a hard route. It's been 40 minutes already. Only done 22K and over 500 meters of climbing. Erg mode is off right now. I'm not doing a workout today. Just free ride mode. That's what I prefer for heat training. Finally got a bit of a break here. Steep downhill, can recover a little bit. Over 300 watts, nice. That's really, really good. Oh man, that's a huge increase. Over 20 watts more. How much have you been training? How many hours a week? To get that big increase on the 5-minute. Hey Max, that's a good question. Let's see. So 20-minute test today, 15 watt higher FTP than the ramp test. That's a big difference. I would say that's too big of a difference. I would say one of those tests is not super accurate. So I would say, first of all, look at when those two tests were. Were they close to each other, like within a month? Or were they multiple months apart? Has your fitness changed significantly? If they are close together, then one of those tests I would say is invalid. With your 20-minute test, I would always say take 93% of that number. So take your 20-minute test power times multiply it by 0.93, and that's how I would say would be your estimated FTP. I think using 95% is too high. I think there's very few riders that could actually do 95% of their 20-minute power for an hour. So I'd say first use that calculation, and then maybe the FTP will be different. With the ramp test, I would say, did you feel like you did your absolute best effort? Do you feel like you felt as good as you did for the 20-minute test, or was the feeling a bit different? Because those numbers are quite far off from each other. My best 5-minute power of all time I think is 490. I've never hit 500 for 5 minutes. I think I could get close right now. I haven't tested it in a long time. Like in a race with fatigue, I've done 470 to 480, and I've done like 510, 515 for 4 minutes. So it's probably close to 500. I should test it soon. Oh wow, so at 5 minutes, you're at 6 watts a kilo. That's super strong. All right, we're on to the long climb now. 4.5K. I think the last time I did this climb, it took me about 18 minutes, I think, at 210, 215 watts. So today, I'll probably keep it around 260. Okay, that's interesting. So, Max, with your numbers, I would say for now, I would use 340 watts as your FTP and see how that feels in your workouts. Pay really close attention to how hard the sessions are, how your heart rate reacts in zone 2 and with higher intensity intervals. I would say if it feels right, you should be able to complete all of your high intensity sessions at the target power output. I'm not sure, what's your training like? Are you doing VO2 max intervals, threshold, 40-20s or tempo, anything like that? Because that would make a big difference. Yeah, you can always lower it. I think that's another very underrated thing is if your FTP feels off, just adjust it. You can adjust it whenever you want. I wouldn't adjust it multiple times a week. That probably means that it's wrong. But if you adjust it once every couple weeks when something feels off, when workouts feel too hard or too easy, that's pretty normal with changes in fitness. Nice, Nick. Yeah, you can definitely increase your FTP with multiple different types of training. It doesn't need to be threshold or VO2 max. You can increase your FTP just through zone 1 and zone 2 training when it's high quality and consistent. You can make big gains. It's probably the steepest section of the climb right here. 3.6K to go. Then we'll get a long descent to recover after this. 6.2 watts per kilo. You mean FTP or 20 minute? 20 minute at 6.2. It's definitely possible. Anything's possible nowadays with different genetics and when riders start really early. Yeah, I've seen a junior rider who can do 7 watts a kilo for 20 minutes. It doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to be the next Tadej Pogacar, but it shows they have a crazy amount of talent. Yeah, if you're actually doing over 6 watts a kilo for 20 minutes as a junior, as an under 16, under 15 rider, that puts you up with the strongest in the world. .5.1 for 20 at 14 years old is very, very strong. Super, super good. With riders online, if you don't know them at all, and you don't recognize the name, I want to assume that all the numbers are 100% legit every single time. Yeah, I hope that one day I can do 6.2 for an hour. I think my all-time 20-minute record is 6.1 or 6.2. I've done 6.5 for 10 minutes, but I've done fewer 20-minute efforts in my career, like all out. Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is over 6 for an hour. Thank you. Right now, I think I'm at 5.5 for an hour, somewhere around there. So it's not crazy to think, if I really tried, if I could get over 6. Yeah, 450 would be over 6 watts a kilo for me, even at my current weight of 72 kilos. Nice, Nick. I don't know if I've ever broken 6 minutes on those Zwift Volcano KOM. I have in a race, but on my own, I don't know. I think 6:10, 6:05 or 6:10 might be my record, like 6.9 watts a kilo. Heart rate's coming up now from the heat. Yeah, anything around 7 minutes on the volcano is very strong. Probably elite level, category A. Oh, nice. Sub 40 on the Alp would be awesome. That's a big goal for many riders. I don't know what my PR is, but I think it's around 36, 37 minutes maybe. Yeah, over 300 watt FTP is very strong. Oh yeah, you can knock 4.5 minutes off of there, especially if you give yourself some time. Another steep section right here. It's okay to go on this climb, but there's a plateau about 1K out. Yeah, it sounds a little sketchy, those numbers. If he's actually doing 6.2 for 20, he should be winning any junior race in the entire world. Here's that little plateau section, a little downhill actually. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lead out on the volcano would make you go a lot faster because the gradient's not super steep. I think the average is, what, 3.6%? So most of the climb is around 4 to 5%. And then there's that plateau in the middle, steep section at the end. So a lead out on the faster sections would help you go way faster. Wow, you're doing a 20-minute test every month? That's a lot. I would say 4 weeks is about the limit. I wouldn't go lower than that. And most riders, I don't think I would test that often, but if you like it, if you're enjoying it, I won't say stop doing it. Oh my God, 205 beats a minute. Wow, I haven't seen that since I was a junior. .210 is crazy. Yeah, I guess like if the 20-minute is, yeah, like an all-out threshold effort once a month, especially if you're not racing, that's not too much. It's not overdoing it. If you're racing like 3 out of 4 weekends and doing 20-minute tests, I would say that's too much. But one or the other is good. .31's not that old. I'm only 29. Yeah, it's all good. If you're not racing yet, then doing those all-out efforts in training is fine. Yeah, I did that for a long time. Just using Zwift races as my high intensity sessions. Nice, 3 minutes faster than my PR on that climb. Now a nice long descent. I'll go like 200 watts here. Let the heart rate come down. Got 10K to go. Probably about 20 more minutes. Half of it being downhill and then finishing on a climb. It's kind of brutal. Finish on a climb after all that. I wouldn't say I was a great junior racer. I only started racing when I was 17, so I only had 2 years in the junior ranks and that was it. So at the national level, I think I was around like, I don't even remember, 40th place, 50th place at nationals. Back then in the 17-18 category, I was a little bit better than mid-pack. I might have been like 63rd, I think, out of 120 to 140 guys. So barely better than mid-pack. I was not special. And then in my early 20s, I would say, that's when I started racing at the elite level. Got close to the professional level. Man, I like the 450 watt FTP is the biggest goal I've ever had. If I ever got there, when I get there, I don't even know what I would do next. I would probably go for some hour-long KOM maybe. Like Mont Ventoux on Zwift. Try to do 450 up the entire thing. Something crazy like that. I'll start going for KOMs probably if I actually got that strong, which is the goal, I just don't know when. I mean, 5.8 watts a kilo for an hour. I mean, the World Tour is about a lot more than just power numbers, so it's hard to say. There's a lot of guys in the World Tour that can do 450 for 20 minutes to an hour, but it depends on their weight, depends on their strengths and weaknesses, depends on their racing style and all that. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. So yeah, there's a lot more to it. You don't just get a contract when you hit a certain watts per kilo. So realistically, I don't think I'll ever be in the World Tour, even if I got that strong. I'd probably rather do KOMs, gravel, and esport racing, because then I could live at home for most of that too. Yeah, esports is super fun. I love it. That's most of the racing I do nowadays. Yeah, I hope so, one day. His FTP's over 450 for sure. Probably like 460 to 470. 464. Yeah, that's probably about right. A YouTube video. Huh. Trying to think of what video that might have been. I'm sure I saw it. Heart rate is very high compared to the effort. Heat training is fully kicked in. Yeah, it's crazy. I'll probably bring the power down a little bit for this final, like 10 to 12 minutes. Oh, that's interesting. Was that a GCN video? Sounds like a GCN video. I wonder what the best track cyclist was. They probably never train their FTP. Never do like a 20-minute test. No need as a track rider. Yeah, I don't even know what track cyclists would do to test their FTP. For a minute, they're definitely over 1,000 watts. The sprinters, at least. Looks like this last climb might be only 2K long, 1.5K, but pretty steep at the end. Yeah, I have raced against Ed quite a bit. He is very strong. We're very different riders, so we usually don't finish next to each other. He's definitely stronger on longer and steeper climbs, whereas I'm probably stronger on the flats and in sprints, which it means that when we're in the same race, it's very interesting if and when we end up in the same group, because he probably tries to attack. I just hang on for dear life and then try to outsprint him in the end. He did outsprint me in a ZRL race a couple weeks ago. Very impressive. My VO2, I've never gotten it tested before, but I would say from all of my numbers and from the different like accessories that I have that I'll estimate VO2 max, it's probably around 70, maybe high 60s. Maybe at the highest it's like 75, but I don't know. I'd love to test it one day. Here we go into the final climb. At least you got some speed coming into it. 1.3K, 6%. Probably 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, actually the first 500 meters are like flat. So that means the last kilometer is probably 8% average. Yeah, Niall is super strong, crazy strong, and progressing fast too, like you said. It's scary because he hasn't slowed down yet. Yeah, his 20-minute is well over 6 watts a kilo now. Really steep section here. Almost there. 600 meters to go. Yeah, and he's done that on Monday too after SRC. 6.2 for 20. Yeah, those guys that just keep on improving. Whereas there's a lot of guys in their 30s that it's hard to say if they've improved a lot in the last 12 months. Whereas those guys really have. I'm hoping to be in their category. Guys that just keep on improving. Who's 16? I'm not sure I know who that is. An e-sport team. Are you thinking of Lyndon Milostic? I think he's 17 or 18 now. He's super young though, and definitely improving. Here's the top of the climb. End of the route. Just over an hour and 15 minutes. Solid ride. That should be it for that challenge too. Let's see, let's take a look. Nice. There it is. Woohoo! What do I get? Ooh. Oh, that's cool. I like that. And completed that challenge too. That was a lot in one ride. That was great. So yeah, now I have one more challenge that I haven't completed yet. And then I'll have to pick a new one. Yeah. I'll have to pick a new set of challenges for March. That'll be really cool. All right. I'm gonna go clean up, get some dinner. Thanks for watching. See you next time.